Me a glass of water. Thanks, Liz. I want to talk this morning about water. Really to have us focus on the well of living water that is Christ. I heard that the men are going to study Genesis. That's good, isn't it? The book of beginnings, the book of origins. When you get to verse 2, you'll read, "Now the earth was formless and empty, and darkness was over the surface of the deep, and the Spirit of God was hovering over the water." That's the first beginning, and at the end, I was wondering where you would look in the Bible if you wanted to look for water, if you wanted to drill for water. Thank you very much. Look at that, it's full of bubbles of clarity. The Bible starts with that and it ends with, "Let him that is thirsty come and drink," chapter 22 of Genesis. And this, sorry? Revelation, sorry. Exactly. So, through the entire scriptures, the streams of God's provision flow, mostly under the ground, but it comes up here and there, and we can find it. People like Isaac, Jacob, Moses found their wives at the water. Is that right? The whole business of their getting a wife was at the local well. And David, you remember David? At the end of his life, not during the narrative of his life where he ran for some time in the desert away from those who attacked him, but at the end of his life when he's having a recap on what the mighty men in his army had done, it comes up there that David one day said, "Oh, that someone would get me a drink of water from the well that is at the gate of Bethlehem." His hometown of Bethlehem. There is no water like the well of Bethlehem. It was a wistful thinking thing. But 3 of his men heard that. And they got together and said, "We can do this." And they risked their lives. And as an aside, I often wonder, as a person who worked for the authorities in the prison, everything that went wrong required a lot of paperwork and reporting. And I wonder what the report was like on the morning after those 3 men fought their way through the troops of the Philistines at Bethlehem and got some water and then fought their way back out again without spilling it. What did those the Philistine soldiers say? Well, what did those guys want? What happened? You've got all these dead people. What have we got to show for it? Well, we don't know what they wanted. They just seemed to go to the well and get some water. Then they left and we don't know. And it said, and David saw the water. And he said, "This has come at the cost of these men's lives." And he poured it out on the ground. And said, "This is a drink offering to the Lord." Wow. What did those 3 guys think about that? Was that all right? It was, It was for God. And I want to think about water. It's not as good as when I was in Christchurch. And why is that? It's 18 years since I left here. The water in those days was known as the best municipal water in the world. No city had cleaner, clearer, purer water than did Christchurch. And now it's not quite as good. It's okay. Why is that? You that have been left here in charge. People are putting things in it now, aren't they? When they weren't before. Where does that water come from? You don't know? What? Well, you don't want to tell me. It comes from an aquifer. They call it old water. comes from deep under the ground. And you know God put that there.